Look to that steed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. They said we would never be back. We've got a special guest with us today, Danny Foot.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good, very good. For everyone who doesn't know Danny actually was at 81st last year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you came 81st in the Finke Desert Race, and
Yeah.
you got a time under 5 hours.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're 22 years old.
Yeah, 23 now.
Fucking hell. Amazing. Incredible.
Just passable.
Just passable. I mean, I would have got, I reckon I would have got like 3 hours 20 or something, you know?
Yeah, give Walsh your
Yeah. My 96 XT would have just sped past your little two-stroke.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, this is so exciting to meet you. I've been I saw you, but not only did you do the race last year, you did the double. So you co-piloted with your dad in the buggies as well.
Yeah.
So you got a helicopter from the end of the Finke line all the way back, and then got on the motorbike and then raced it.
Yeah.
That is psychotic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Thinking of it now, we must have been on a high up until that point, because I was like, oh yeah, it'll be easy, we'll be fine. And then after it, I was like, that's fucking wild. Like, that was
Even just doing one of those things is wild, and then
Yeah.
doing the double. So yeah, there's only a few people who've ever done the double, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Toby Price is the only other one, and then there was a bloke last year, I can't remember his name, that's horrible, but he did it. I think they classed him as finishing it, but I don't think he did, but I don't know.
So technically, you're the only person to do it last year.
Yeah.
Yes. Whoever that guy is,
Yeah.
he's probably nice, but fuck that
I wonder
guy.
you can't remember him. You know?
Yeah, he's forgettable.
He was eating dust.
Yeah.
He was caked in dust.
Technically, he didn't finish, guys, so we don't want to know about him. We're not interviewing. Yeah, we're not going to interview him at the world's windiest pub outside.
Yeah. But, mate, you were telling us that you know your old man races buggies.
Yeah.
And you only made the decision like a month out that you'd go into Finke.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was actually the stupidest fucking way ever. But I put an Instagram, you know those question things on Instagram where you like ask me a question?
Yeah.
And someone commented saying, would you ever consider the double? And I was like, that's fucking stupid. Like, no, why would I bother doing that? I can't. The bike's enough. And then I spoke to my team manager that night, and I was like, oh, how fun is that? And he's like, sat there. And then we both looked at each other and like, wait, hang on, that'd be sick. Like, actually, why not? Why don't we do that? Dad's looking for a co-pilot, so...
Far out, mate. So you're in
the month's notice.
I know. So you told, because you were telling us before, you were sitting at the start line. You're like, we're not going to finish.
No.
And then you can't believe you finished.
Yeah, it was a logistic nightmare. It was.
Yeah.
To be honest, the 2 weeks leading up to it were actually more tiring than the actual race.
Really?
It was just,
because of all the prep and stuff like that?
Like, we were up super early. We weren't going to bed before midnight, like, every day. And you're like, shit, like, this is not... Surely this isn't even worth it. Like, are we even going to finish it? And then even sitting on the line, we were still thinking about stuff. And I had my best mate up there, Yolanda. If she wasn't up there, I wouldn't have done it. Because it was just... She was thinking for me, sort of. Even to the point... where I didn't have boots, 2 sets of boots. so I was like having to think of all this shit and
Because that's the other thing is when you think about it, going, oh, you're doing a race, but you kind of, I mean, you've got a little bit of sponsorship, but you don't have the big dollars.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to doing the logistics like food, sleeping gear, you've still got to do a big race, and then you still got to set up your own swag. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that just adds all stuff to the day that you don't need.
Yeah, and fuel even, like to get up to Alice Springs. I mean, even that, I think it was like 15 grand in fuel alone or something like that. It was just wild, including the helicopter too. So it was just next level.
Why didn't you fly the helicopter?
Yeah,
that's annoying,
man.
Mate.
I'm gonna go back and do the triple. I'm gonna do the buggy, motorbike, and then I'm also gonna ride the helicopter. The only person in Finke history. I'll crash all three. The triple. Sorry,
Roll.
I'm disappointed in you, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to do it again.
What's the? So you started off in the buggy. Is that what you did? Then you got the helicopter in the bike.
Yeah, so the buggy we had to get up at like 4 a.m. or something because the buggies are super early. Like they leave it in the dark basically to give all the buggies and all the cars enough time to get to Finke because they've got to clear out the track before any bikes go on the track.
Yeah.
So they leave super early and then, basically you get to Finke and then I flew back and then the bike started about 12 o'clock. So, yeah.
So you just never got any rest? You were,
No,
you were anxious about the race, then you're anxious about that next race as well.
Yeah, well, that was my main concern too, because even a month out, I was like, oh, this might actually not work. Like, I'm sort of, because my main focus was the bike. I really wanted to win my class.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just want to worry about that too. And I was like, it's not going to work if I do the buggy, because then I'm not going to make it for the bike. And I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. Like, let's just not do it. Let's just bail. I don't want to do it. And then he's like, nah, we're just going to do it. And I was like, okay, commitment. And yeah, it wasn't until the first day when I got in and I won I was leading my class, and I was like, got this in the bag. What are we fucking worried about?
Yeah.
No one was worried but you.
Yeah, it's all in your head. Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I can calm down now. But yeah, it was a bit intense.
I'd be worried about just even finishing one of the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think I could finish the motorbike leg alone as doing a car ride as well, you know?
Finishing is an achievement in those races.
Yeah.
You know, just finishing. Not even the best finish sometimes. You know, it's like...
Oh, and those buggies too are notorious for breaking down. Like, you see so many on the side of the tracks doing a belt or whatever. Yeah. And that's what Dad was most nervous about. He's like, we just got to reserve the car more than anything. So,
and is this a lot like when riding passenger as well is sometimes fucking worse because you're not holding on to a steering wheel?
Yeah, I hated it.
It would just be, your body would just be engaged the whole time. You're battling for 4 hours.
Yeah, and I was stressing too because on a bike, I'm in control. Like, if I fuck up, it's on me. I'm the dickhead that did it.
Yeah.
And as much as my dad is a really good driver, so I did trust him, but I was still sitting there going... And he'd be he'd come up to a corner or something. I'd be like, brake! And he'd be like, we've got fucking heaps of time. Shut up. And I'm like, I'm just stressing, like, we can't roll.
Imagine it from your dad's point of view, though. Like, he crashes or whatever, and you can't, or, you know, he rolls a buggy, then you're like, so you ruined your day and mine? Oh, okay. Good on you, Dad.
Selfish prick.
Yeah. I better see a new bike in the garage when I get home.
Exactly.
So he sounds like he must be a bloody good driver to finish and not roll or whatever. And that's amazing, mate. Yeah.
Did he get you onto bikes? Is that how you started when you were young?
Yeah. Well, we just had a farm out in the Otways, actually. So we just used to ride... I say farm bikes, and Dad, every time I say that, he's like, fucking wasn't a farm bike, you dickhead. We had like KTM 525 and stuff, and he was...
Yeah, it's not a farm bike.
Yeah, no. So I get yelled at for that. But
it was a bike on the farm, but it wasn't a
525.
But it wasn't like an old rusted red thing, you know?
Yeah, you would have to down gear that thing. You'd have to put it in reverse to round up sheep on that thing, you know?
Yeah. So I get in trouble, but we used to... got like four-wheelers and stuff. We went out there, and he was always into cars. So we had his four-wheel drives, and then we basically used to be a track, Breakwater, down in Geelong. That's closed down now. That we started racing at when I was 6, and that's basically where Dad handed me his wallet and started my racing career.
So.
I was going to say, it must be a thick wallet. All motorsport, because
I'd hate to know how much he spent.
My dad's a petrol head, loves cars, loves tinkering with cars, all that stuff. Yeah. And I was like, for all sport, I was like, he was like, you know, footy, didn't really give a shit. But then I said to him one day, I was like, it's going to happen. I was like, Dad, I want to race go-karts. And I was like, in year 5 or year 6. And he's like, no. I thought it would be the first thing he ever said, but I was like, I could never understand. I was like, but you love cars, so why wouldn't you want me to race? And he's like, we don't have any money. We cannot afford to. It's so expensive. It's it's like $2,000 to even get the thing, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, it was freaking wild. And I'll always be appreciative. Like I said, I don't even want to know because I'm scared about the dollar figure. But, it's freaking wild. And as I said, it's like... $150 for 4 litres of 2-stroke oil.
Yeah. But
shit.
The memories and the adventures are priceless.
Oh, exactly.
You know, it's like, as I was telling you before, we used to ride in the Nindi Gully Enduro, and 3 families all come together, and just tag-alongs would come as well. 3 nights of just camping out. It was better than Christmas. Yeah. Like, Mum loved it. Mum would, how long till Nindi Gully? You know, how long till we can race there? You know, it was the best. And of course, you break down. One year it was rainy. I was wearing like a full garbage bag, but it was awesome.
I think it was a good community.
Everything.
You know, like good community, good people. And then adults, from their point of view, is you're watching your kids have a good time for 5 or 6 hours, and then you get to have beers afterwards. So they're winning as well.
Did you have some good rows though? So good, shut up, Dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't even get me into them. There's a few headless trophies in my cabinet. Just me just piffing them at him.
He's like, I've given you everything. You're like, yeah, you can have the trophy too, you jerk. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was bad. I mean, we spent like 24/7 with each other, and we used to... And we'd go riding every weekend, and like the whole family used to come. Like we had the full motorhome and everything. And I actually went over to the States when I was 15 and raced too. So whole family went over there, made it a holiday and stuff like that. But yeah, they lived and breathed it for me too. So it's like, that's pretty sick.
You've really got to be committed to it as well, don't you? You know what I mean? There can't be any like, oh, it's a holiday. Yeah, we are going to Disney World, but we are still racing.
Yeah, it's just like, but we've got to go after racing. So
yeah, right.
That's so cool. You appreciate it though. Not many people do.
Yeah.
You know, like
when I was younger, I didn't know. I was like, whatever, mate. But now it's like,
well, I think when you're young, you're like, why don't I have Nikes like everyone else? And then you get old and you're like, I can't even afford Nikes now. You know what I mean? Like they're $200. You're like, geez, you got to put them on your kid every year. Their feet keep growing and shit. You're like, so expensive.
Oh yeah, I can't afford groceries. So I don't know how the hell that freaking racing every week.
And then as soon as like motocross gear, like we know even with our adventure stuff, you're like, how is that jacket $800? The boots are $500, and you burn through boots pretty quick. And oh my god, it's never ending.
Yeah.
So mate, you got to tell us what equipment you got. What are you riding here? You said you're on a 2-stroke. So what are you on?
So I'm on a Husqvarna 250 TC motocross bike at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got a couple enduro bikes in the shed, trying to sell them, trying to pop them off.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Anything under $500, we'll take it.
So I got nothing. But yeah, so that's what I'm riding this year. We're doing a bit of everything this year. So
I thought a motocross bike, mate, the tank wouldn't be big enough. Do you put a big long range tank on them? Do you have something so it doesn't use so much fuel? Or
so last year, I only got the motocross bike last year for motocross events. So for Finke Danni, I had a TE Husqvarna, so 250 still, which is the enduro bike. So you do get the big tank and everything for Finke. I think they're like 11 or 12 litres or something like that. But yeah, so this year...
And does that just get you to your stops?
Yeah, basically.
You're pretty much down the last couple of litres there, aren't you?
Yeah, I know one year I rolled into my fuel stop.
Jesus.
Yeah, bad.
That sounds like us, but not because we're racing, it's because we're unprepared.
I am notorious for running out of fuel too.
Well, you and Nick will get along great.
Bad. It's a running joke, actually.
Yeah, that's what happens when you ride fast. Anyway, Brett.
Look, I can't argue. I ride like an old grandma, you know.
There's more fuel.
That's amazing, mate. So a 250. Yeah. That's what. So what's your top speed? Around 110, 120, even more, or?
I think we hit 156.
156.
Jesus.
On sand.
On sand.
Yeah.
Are you a psycho?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You don't seem like a psycho.
Yeah.
Is there a part of your soul missing? Like 156 on sand. Like my bike doesn't go that fast, and even if it did, I wouldn't be seeing 156.
Well, it is. I wanted it to go faster.
Oh, really?
Year. Like I wanted it a little bit faster, but it's all we got out of the little 250. So yeah.
And why wouldn't you go to a 450? A bit heavy, or just not as much control?
I wanted to. So the 250 class, I won in 20. What year are we in? 2021. I wanted to back that up last year, but the thought of going to a 4-stroke sort of scares me a little bit. I haven't really had a lot of time on them. So I've always raced 250 like my whole junior career. I raced the 250 4-stroke for a year. I blew it up, and it was like the best excuse to get rid of it. I was like, see, Dad, I hate it. Got a 2-stroke. So, and then since then, I haven't really been on a 4-stroke. But I actually rode one on the weekend. I was like, that felt so sick. Like I sort of wanted
really?
Yeah. So I was like,
But there's something, I mean, well, obviously they're coming back and they haven't technically left, but there's something beautiful about a 2-stroke, you know, and everyone was going 4s, and I'm like, the sound, the smell, you can never leave that.
You hear like 1 2-stroke in a field of 4-strokes.
Yeah.
It's like heaven. You're like,
just that little ping, 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 ping. You're like, oh my Lord.
It sounds sick.
What are 2-strokes like now? Do you still have a power band and stuff like that? Or is it, because that's what I liked about them was, I had a 96 CR 250.
Yeah.
And it was just like a Bronco.
Yeah.
You never knew when the power was going to come in.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe the modern age might have got rid well, they'd be like, oh, this is not how you win races, you know. Like if you don't know when it's going to kick in, or if it bucks you off around the corner.
Yeah.
Because I was there when the 4-strokes motocrossers started coming in.
Yeah.
You know, the YZ 400 was the first one, and the whole thing about that was because your dad could jump on it and race a motocross race and not have the shit scared out of him. You know what I mean? So what? They still psycho.
Yeah.
Right, man.
Well, it's not as aggressive though. Like
Not as aggressive.
It's pretty mellow. I mean, especially, and you can sort of tamper with them a little bit to make them more aggressive or a little bit more mellow, which is good. The enduro bikes though, the enduro 2-strokes are heaps more mellow again.
Oh, really?
But they've got that torque behind them. So like, if you're at the bottom of a hill and you just want to get up the hill without flipping it because of the aggression, obviously, it's pretty cruisy. But actually, speaking of the old ones, my dad just turned my 250 TE into a 500 2-stroke. So
yeah, why not? Yeah. Wait, so that wallet is big, is it? Yeah. a lot of free time.
Loves it.
Yeah.
No free time. He just loves it. He's fiddling with that all the time, and he says it's wild. So he tries to get me on it, but I don't know. I get scared.
Well, good to if you're scared on it, imagine we won't bother riding.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. Now you were telling before, and I was really interested and kind of annoyed at it as well. Like putting in such a good time in Finke, doing the double, and then still struggling to get sponsorship and shit like that. It's so annoying that you could be at the top of your game at 22. And no one gives a fuck. It really, I think it annoyed me more than you. But is it just frustrating finding sponsors? How are you going around that?
Yeah, I mean, I had really good support last year with Simford Motorsport Group, so they were really good. They're a nice community team too. Like just a heap of families got together and just loved the sport. But in terms of like factory support, it's pretty hard to come by for anyone. As I said, I suck at self-promotion. I can't do it. So you
can't be the best rider and then be the best marketer and the best publicist.
Exactly.
You can't be it all, you know?
And it's like, last year definitely pissed me off. Like it's, and it's got a sort of, the responsibility does sort of fall into me again because I didn't really reach out. And I sort of kept the whole double thing under wraps a little bit. One, because everything was not fucking organised. And like, I was like, I don't know. And then two, I just didn't know how to say, like, I'm doing the double this year. I don't know.
Yeah, and like, who do you tell and stuff, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was, and then the Finke week, I was doing interviews and everything like that, and that was cool, and we were doing a heap with, like, ABC up there for Alice Springs, and I did a little bit with 7 News. They had, like, a full Finke documentary thing that I was sort of part of, but not really. Like, for what I did last year, it was fuck all. Like, it wasn't really anything special. And then afterwards I didn't really get anything. I had a couple podcasts and everything like that, but
I was nervous that you wouldn't get back to us. I was like, I'll message her on the Instagram. I was like, I'm not going to hear back. She's probably got 1,001 podcasts. And I was like, God damn it. You got back. I was like, we're on, Nick. This is sick.
There was not much going on. I was like, oh, yeah. And then, I was like, oh, well, that was pretty cool. And not that I did it for that. Like, I didn't do it to...
No, but it's nice if you do a good job at something for people to go, hey, look, you did a good job and here's a bit of this, and then it makes sponsorship easy next year. Because what do you reckon if you were to put out a wild number? If next week I was to go race at Finke, what financials, I'm talking from the ground up, what do you reckon it's going to cost you?
You'd be looking at north of 50 grand.
Jesus.
Including everything. Yeah.
Jesus.
To get the good stuff and everything like that. Like, you obviously got to get the good suspension, which is 10 grand. You got fuels, or like I said, fuel was friggin' expensive last year, doing the double. But and then getting everyone up there. Like, you got to, unless you do the club fuel, you got to get everyone up there to fuel you and everything like that. Accommodation alone is hard to come by. So you'd be looking about 50 grand.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So even if you got the skill and ability to do it, you're still fucking financially restricted.
Yeah. And it's not like it's just a club day down the road where you just, obviously every time you get on the bike, it's the risk you take. But up there, it's next level. Like, as you said, you're doing 150, 160. The boy, like top boys Walsh, you're doing 180, 190. It's like, that shit's scary. You come off and you're
done.
You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can't even work after that, so it could cost you,
exactly.
You know?
So it's like you're risking your life, and I suppose it just comes down to the love of it. Like, as I said, you got to be psychotic. You got to be fucking psycho to do the shit that they do up there. So
well, you do.
Yeah.
You know, like that is.
Oh no, I'll be watching you, but on the computer screen. That's how I was watching it last, because you can only see 2 legs, and then you go by the GPS markers. And I was just like, I was at an airport just staring at it, and people were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Just fuck off, all right? I'm watching Walshy. I'm seeing where everyone is. I'm loving this, you know."
Yeah, no, it's wild.
But I still think they should. I mean, it's so hard to do. I mean, obviously Dakar is the next level or whatever. But like Finke, to me, is it's a massive race. It's a big race in Australia. It's an awesome desert community. I don't know why it's not broadcasted better. You know what I mean? Like you see 2 legs of it, and then you're honestly following GPS trackers.
Yeah. It's an insane race. That is. I think though, the worst thing about it is that you don't get much out of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the best thing about it.
Yeah, that's true as well.
It's a big community, and it's like we all just love
this
to
race.
nearly die.
Yeah.
We all love to, like, I don't know. I think the older you get, the more you just want to put your life at risk.
Yeah.
Or they probably see
thrill. You're like, life is so mundane.
When everyone gets,
gonna get worse.
Just let me get in this. No, you'll get faster and faster. Yeah.
But they probably see footage of all like the guys when they get to the fucking camp and just drinking 50 fucking rums and then getting on the bikes the next day. They're like, we don't want to publicize this.
Yeah, but mate, you're how do you prepare for you said it 2 weeks, you were just getting up early every morning. Was that training? Were you just like getting on the bike and just letting it rip, or what? How many hours you train or whatever?
So up there, you go up there either a couple weeks, week out, and you just pre-run the track basically, because the track's open up until Thursday, I think. Yeah. Before the race. Might even be open Friday, but and you just ride the track and you get your suspension dialed and everything like that. So and it's the closest thing you can get to the track on the day, I guess.
Yeah, right.
The track changes because you got 150 buggies going over it, but so you're just getting up for that, and then bike work too. You got to change shit over. Like you'll test out tires, and you'll test out wheels, and you'll test out suspension, and even steg pegs and everything like that. You test all of that stuff. You might need to do a rebuild too. So it's a very, very busy 2 weeks leading up to it too.
And this sounds maybe stupid, but is the sand much different? Like, if you know what I mean? Like the sand, I don't know, is it harder to race in that type of sand compared to stuff down here, or can you find something that's similar here so you're ready to go, or you just got to play it week by week?
Yeah, unfortunately with that stuff, it's like the best testing for that race is up there.
Yeah,
which is annoying, but yeah, there's sand tracks and everything like that you can ride down here,
but they wouldn't be close enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't really find open plain, nothing out there where you can just send it. Really, it's nothing like that.
Any tips for me on how to ride sand better, because I suck?
Just hold it wedged.
Well, I'm out.
That's about as. I mean, not. Yeah, wedged.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because as soon as I'm on it, I'm like, I don't like this at all. Yeah.
I mean, steg pegs help. I don't know if you've run steg pegs before.
He's got them.
I've got them.
Yeah. Just hook into them and hold it wedged.
All right. If I die, it's your fault.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You won't. No, you're not going to hear it on the news. Just don't worry about it. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No one ever, unless it's on a highway, no one ever really says anything.
No. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
So, mate, you were telling us, right, that you raced motocross for years.
Yeah.
What made you want to get in enduro and Finke was just like the next level? Or your dad kind of was like, oh, maybe you should do this, or you thought motocross was a bit too crazy, or what? Yeah,
well, I had a desert race in Mildura when I was 11.
Just for fun, or? Yeah,
just for fun. I don't actually remember why we did that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I was 11, so I can't remember what the reason was why we went up there, but so I did that from 11 to, I did that every year up until 16. Oh, I'm still doing it now, sorry. So, but yeah, that's sort of your desert racing in in Victoria. So,
yes.
And one of my mates, Sean Brunton, said, "Oh, you'd be good at Finke," and he did it a couple years prior to me doing it. And my dad sponsored him as a rider. So he's like, "Oh, you might as well give it a crack." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was 16. I was the youngest female. I still am the youngest female to ever complete Finke.
Whoa.
At 16?
Yeah. So that was my
That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So you just race Finke.
Yeah.
Then you just go back to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I wish I was that cool at school. You know, I was like,
They
no.
didn't care. They were like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
That was the worst.
What school did you go? If you went to our school full of bogans, none of us could afford a motorbike, though. We'd have been like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I went to a private school.
Oh, they'd be like, oh, did you get dirt in your hair? And you're like, yeah.
You play sport?
Yeah.
Do you
Fuck.
play piano on the weekends?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that
but
is
no.
nuts, man.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And I just...
So
loved it.
completed it at 16?
Yeah, I can't remember what I got. I probably could find out, but I think I either just cracked the top 100, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or just missed out.
Just crack the top 100.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was speaking to a loser. I only just got in the 100.
Yeah, private school loser.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, that's great, mate. Because when you went to the States, you said you went to the States, when you were 15 or whatever, were you hoping to race like supercross or motocross over there, or were you just trying it out? Were you just testing it?
Well, so I was doing motocross then, and I was, that's literally all I did for 2 years, I think it was, when I was, 14 to 16. All I did was, like, I was taking weeks off school to go riding, like, all the time. And the year before I won the Australian junior motocross title, and Dad said before that, he was like, if you win this Australian motocross title, I'll take you to America next year. I was like, okay. And then I did, and he's like, oh, fuck.
He's like, opens the wallet again, more mults come out. He's like, God damn it, why don't I shut my mouth?
I didn't learn to shut up.
That's the one trophy with a head on it. Yeah, great.
Yeah, actually. I don't think they made, like, those were the little club day trophies. The big Australian titles are the massive ones, and they were, like, real cool ones. But, so then we went over there in, it would have been about April, May, for a month to try out for the qualifiers for the Loretta Lynn's. So I don't know if you've heard of the Loretta Lynn's. Yeah. So we're over there in California. Went to Utah also, I think, did the area qualifiers, qualified for that. I was on a 125 and a super mini back then. So we qualified for the super mini, and the last area qualifier was at Glen Helen.
Oh, Glen Helen. That's a wild track.
Yeah, it's actually
is it the biggest outdoor track in the States or something?
It's pretty big. Yeah. It's massive.
Huge
and
jumps.
Like those massive hills and stuff like that. But, and I was on my 125, and I remember telling Dad, I was like, it's run like shit. Like, what the hell? It's not, it was literally, I'd go up the hills and I'd get past, and then coming down, I'd just pass them all back. And it just had no power or anything. And we ended up taking it apart, and there was a hole in the piston. It was like that big.
Oh, Jesus.
And he's like, oh, that's why.
That'll do it. Yeah.
So he's like, oh.
His dad's like, gets the wallet out again. He's like, God damn it.
He's like, fuck, this cost me a lot. But, and then,
scrap Disney World, guys. Yeah.
Probably like a carbon fiber piston as well or something.
It was standard. That's probably why it had a hole.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Dad cheaped out. Yeah. Cop that, Dad.
Yeah. But then, so he's like, well, we came over here to qualify for 2 bikes, and I didn't qualify for the 125. He's like, so we're going to have to extend our, like, we'll go to the next area qualifier so you can qualify for the 125, give it another crack. So extended the holiday. Mum and my 2 sisters went home. We stayed, drove 1,400 miles, which I don't even know what that is in kilometres, but drove that to Washougal and qualified for that. So luckily, thank God, or else I would have got my ass kicked. That extended everything. But so then, went home, and then went back in July and raced the national, and then ended up getting 3rd in the 125. So so luckily we went to Washougal, so that was pretty sick. I was 15, and everyone I was racing was like 25, 26, like full factory kits and everything, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy shit, like this is wild. And it's pretty cool. But
wow.
Yeah, and
this is insane.
In the nationals, yeah.
Far out.
yeah.
You've achieved more than I have, and I'm 35.
Yeah.
Like even rocking up to these events is way better than anything I've ever done in my whole life.
I just see one, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm at Glen Helen.
Even just to stand on the sidelines. Yeah, that's so
cool.
Even when you were saying that, I was imagining myself. I wasn't even imagining myself on the track. It was at the pub, going like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," you know.
Yeah.
When it comes to Australian, maybe this is like, I hope it's not too deep of a question, whatever. But when it comes to Australian riders and shit like that, we got like Chad Reed and Jetson at the moment, and even like to the likes of Toby Price. Is it kind of frustrating that it's not really like no one gives a fuck about motorbikes in Australia?
Yeah, it's shit. It really is, and especially because
it's like we've got the best in the world.
Yeah, but like they're like the biggest athletes ever. Like they're not just. I mean, Toby Price probably just rocked up off the couch, but like
yeah, he looks like it. Yeah.
Just naturally talented.
Yeah.
Natural.
No,
he's probably worked his ass off. Actually, he definitely did. But no, I don't know why they don't. Like you see them all over fucking tennis and netball and all that shit. And I don't know why.
You'd think because Australia is the big brown land, we're known, farming, like bikes.
Yeah.
Everyone grew up with someone who knew a bike, but no one, like if you walked up to someone and said, "Do you know who Chad Reed is?" They wouldn't know. Even like, and Jetson's doing amazing shit in America at the moment. No one knows who the fuck he is, and even you to the likes of it, coming first.
Yeah.
In the female, like it's amazing. An 81 overall is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, even getting third in America, like the biggest country ever. That is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've got to be probably one of the biggest motocross nations. Besides Europe or something.
And we could be even higher on the platforms if we had more media recognitions, because then there's more sponsors. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And it just comes down to that. Like you go to. It also comes down to the community too. Like I know Horsham does a lot with their community, their motocross track. So like when they've got an event on, the whole community gets behind them, like the pubs and the motels and everything. And that's what helps the riders. Like that's if the motels are like
busy
exactly.
Everyone's making money, so let's keep pushing money into it.
Yeah, and I think if every town that had a motocross track, or if everyone got behind and they're like, hang on, we can make. Because everyone's fueled by money. Like, let's be real. If they were like, we can make money off this, imagine how much bigger the sport would be, and then maybe we'd get more recognition. But it's pretty shit, because you see even Toby Price at Dakar, no one even heard boo on. I think it might be on Sunrise or something. But
but it's not even huge. You know what I mean?
And
it's
Jetson,
the
kid's wild.
Huge.
And it's,
but like Chad Reed dominated for years, and you wouldn't fucking hear anything about it. There's a memorial to him in fucking Melbourne, and no one. I've never seen anyone post a photo near it or anything. Not a memorial, he didn't die. Sorry, a photo of him that he signed. Like some artist did a thing, and I'm like, no one gave a shit. And you're like, he's one of the greatest riders of all time.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows like LeBron James and whoever, I don't even.
Yeah, but no one even plays basketball in Australia. I've never met anyone who plays basketball.
Exactly. They've all got their posters and stuff. And
it's
like you never see any ordinary person just have.
I reckon it's the helmets. It's because they can't see the cool heads.
Although in saying that, Jet has got a nice fan following.
He's pretty. I was gonna say
he's done well
he's doing all right.
I think he's not. Look, there's this point where you're just like, I don't give a fuck about Australia, and I think he's in that.
I know.
He's not.
Man, he's got his own thing going on, but he's a great rider. It's
our loss.
We're losing it to them, whereas we should have actually brought him up and gone on the shoulders the whole way through and gone like, this is our hero, get behind him, and then he kicks America's ass, whereas you have to go there to cut his lunch,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Guys, I gotta go to the toilet quickly.
Well, that's all right. We're at 36. So let's just, we should just wrap it up.
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay? Man, honestly, thank you so much for your time. Let us know when you hit Finke again. We can't give you 50 grand, but we'll definitely do a fundraiser for you.
Help you out,
and we'll definitely try and help out. And also, we've got some other contacts in other areas. So, but thank you so much for your time. What you did last year was fucking amazing. You should be really proud of yourself. It's actually incredible.
Mate, so which pub are we at here?
We're at the Mount Moriac Hotel.
Mount Moriac Hotel. It is a fucking cool pub.
It is pretty cool.
It is really cool.
There is a truck going ahead every 2 minutes, but just past the back here. And where can people find you on the social media to get behind you?
So you can find me at Danielle Foot 35 on Instagram, and then just my Facebook's just Danielle Foot. So
great.
Oh, great.
And everyone do that now.
We should do this. We should ask this quickly. What's your plans for the future, mate?
Yeah. So no Finke this year. As I said, it's just there's a few factors that go into it, but give it a rest this year. Might be back. Who knows? You never know. But definitely doing Hatter. So you'll see me at Hatter Desert Race up at Mildura in July. But this year I'm just playing it by ear. As I said, I just have this new attitude this year where I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, whatever. Let's just ride for fun. Just have the ball. Spend all my money on bikes and go from there.
Sweet,
hey, you sound like us. Don't give a fuck and spend all your money on bikes.
Mate, I reckon the next one is speedway or freestyle. That's what you got to do.
Something. But as long as I can.
Hey, if it all else fails, we always need a third on flat stick. We could use an extra anchor. You know, if you want to make even less money, come do podcasting.
You can drown all your money in comedy. It's great. It's so good.
Yeah, you think sponsoring yourself doing motorbike sucks? Try doing comedy. It's even worse. At least people respect your craft.
I don't know. No, but as long as I can have a cold one after race, and I'm not really fussed what happens.
Man, what a great attitude. Thank you very much for your time, and guys, until next time, keep it flat, stick. It's always bad when you got to do that in front of people. I'm sorry.